Did you know that two of the most common health problems after 60, high blood pressure and high blood sugar, are quietly damaging your brain every single day? They don't just hurt your heart, your arteries, or your waistline. They slowly, silently, eat away at your memory, your focus, and your independence. Doctors often warn about strokes or heart attacks, but very few talk about the brain. And yet, research shows that seniors with uncontrolled blood pressure or blood sugar are at double the risk of dementia compared to those with healthy levels. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, like a leak in the roof you don't notice until the ceiling starts to collapse. You feel a little more forgetful, a little slower, a little more tired. Family members might say, "That's just normal aging." But often, it's not aging, it's damage. Damage caused by tiny, silent changes in your blood vessels and neurons that go unnoticed for years. Picture your brain as a busy city, alive with lights, traffic, and energy. High blood pressure is like constant storms battering the roads and bridges, weakening them little by little. High sugar is like sticky sludge clogging the highways, slowing traffic, and starving neighborhoods of supplies. Over time, whole areas of the city go dark, memory lapses, confusion, poor focus. But here's the truth. This silent risk is preventable. You don't have to surrender your brain to blood pressure and sugar. With knowledge and daily action, you can slow, stop, and even reverse much of the damage. Tonight, we'll explore how blood pressure and blood sugar quietly attack the brain, the early warning signs you must never ignore, and the natural, science-backed ways to protect your memory and independence. Because losing your brain is the highest price you could pay, and you don't have to pay it. How high blood pressure silently destroys the brain. When most people hear the words high blood pressure, they immediately think of the heart, a heart attack, a stroke, maybe kidney disease. But very few realize that high blood pressure is just as dangerous for the brain, and in some ways, even more so. Here's why. Your brain is like a sponge, filled with millions of tiny, delicate blood vessels. These vessels deliver oxygen and nutrients to every neuron, keeping them alive and firing. But when blood pressure is high, those delicate vessels are forced to handle more pressure than they were built for. Imagine a garden hose turned up too strong. Over time, the hose walls weaken, bulge, and even burst. In the brain, this means tiny vessel damage, what doctors call microvascular injury. These microinjuries don't cause pain. You don't feel them happening, but each one leaves behind a tiny scar. And when they add up, whole areas of the brain lose circulation. The result? Silent strokes. These aren't the dramatic strokes where someone collapses suddenly. They are tiny, almost invisible strokes that happen quietly, sometimes in your sleep. You might wake up feeling a little more forgetful, a little slower, or with a change in mood, and never connect it to blood pressure. But brain scans often show the evidence: little white spots, scars from years of high pressure. High blood pressure also thickens artery walls, making them stiff and narrow. That means less oxygen-rich blood reaching the memory centers, like the hippocampus and frontal lobes. Over time, these areas literally shrink. And shrinkage here isn't just size, it's memory loss, poor decision-making, and slower thinking. One study found that seniors with uncontrolled blood pressure had brains that looked 7 to 10 years older than those with healthy blood pressure. Imagine that. The number on the blood pressure cuff today could decide whether your brain feels 65 or 75. And here's another silent effect: blood-brain barrier damage. The blood-brain barrier is like a protective wall that keeps toxins and waste out of your brain. High blood pressure weakens this barrier, making it leaky. Harmful proteins slip in, contributing to Alzheimer's disease. This is why doctors often call high blood pressure the silent killer. It doesn't just kill the body suddenly. It kills the brain slowly. The most tragic part is that many seniors live with it for years without realizing the harm being done. They think, "I feel fine. A little high pressure can't hurt." But inside, their brain is quietly being starved, scarred, and shrunken. But there's hope. Blood pressure damage can be slowed, and in some cases, the brain can adapt and repair. The key is awareness and action, catching the problem before too many scars form. In the next block, we'll uncover how high blood sugar, often from diabetes or diet, works hand in hand with high blood pressure to double the danger for your brain. How high blood sugar quietly damages the aging brain. When we think of high blood sugar, the first thing that comes to mind is diabetes. We imagine problems with the pancreas, insulin shots, or complications in the eyes, kidneys, and feet. But what many seniors don't realize is that high blood sugar is just as dangerous for the brain. Here's the truth. Your brain runs on sugar. Glucose is its main fuel. But just like a car, the engine needs the right amount. Not too little, not too much. Too much sugar over years doesn't fuel the brain better. It poisons it. Let's look at how. When blood sugar is consistently high, the body becomes resistant to insulin, the hormone that helps glucose enter cells. That resistance means the brain has a harder time pulling in the energy it needs. Neurons starve, even while surrounded by excess sugar. Scientists sometimes call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. Because of this connection, the brain becomes insulin resistant and can no longer use sugar properly. High sugar also damages the tiny blood vessels that feed the brain, just like high blood pressure does. Think of syrup poured into delicate pipes. It sticks, clogs, and weakens them. Poor circulation follows, starving neurons of oxygen. But the damage doesn't stop there. Excess sugar triggers inflammation. Sugars attach to proteins and fats in a process called glycation, creating toxic molecules known as AGEs, advanced glycation end products. These AGEs build up in brain tissue, making neurons brittle and disrupting communication. They also increase the buildup of amyloid plaques, one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. Another danger is oxidative stress. High sugar levels flood the brain with free radicals, unstable molecules that act like sparks in a dry forest. Without enough antioxidants to control them, these sparks damage DNA, membranes, and synapses, the connections where memory is stored. The result? Seniors with chronically high blood sugar often show faster brain shrinkage, especially in the hippocampus, the memory center. Greater risk of Alzheimer's and other dementias. Slower processing speed. It takes longer to think, plan, or recall words. More frequent brain fog moments, where concentration just slips away. In one major study, people with diabetes were found to have brains that were, on average, smaller by almost 5% compared to healthy adults of the same age. That's the equivalent of a decade of extra aging, caused not by time, but by sugar. And here's the scary part. You don't need full-blown diabetes for sugar to harm your brain. Even pre-diabetes, blood sugar that's just a little high, is enough to start the process. Many seniors walk around with pre-diabetes without knowing it, believing they're fine because they don't feel sick. But inside, the brain is quietly paying the price. This is why memory problems often appear in people with long-standing blood sugar issues. Not because of old age alone, but because the brain has been under attack for years. But there's hope. The brain is resilient. Studies show that when seniors lower their sugar intake, balance their meals, and get regular activity, memory improves, fog clears, and shrinkage slows down. Just like with blood pressure, action today can protect the brain tomorrow. In the next block, we'll see what happens when high blood pressure and high blood sugar work together, a dangerous partnership that accelerates brain aging faster than either one alone. The deadly duo, how high blood pressure and high blood sugar work together. High blood pressure alone is dangerous. High blood sugar alone is dangerous. But when the two exist together, as they often do in seniors, the damage multiplies. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = 10. Doctors call this combination metabolic syndrome, and it is one of the biggest threats to the aging brain. Here's why. Think back to the image of the brain as a city. Blood pressure is the storm that weakens the roads and bridges. Blood sugar is the sticky sludge clogging the traffic. Put them together, and you have both broken bridges and blocked roads. Supplies never reach neighborhoods. Whole districts of the city go dark. 1. Double damage to blood vessels. High blood pressure hammers at vessel walls, making them stiff and fragile. High blood sugar coats those same vessels with sticky plaques, narrowing them even more. Together, they create fragile, clogged pipes that can burst or starve neurons of oxygen at any moment. This is why seniors with both hypertension and diabetes are far more likely to suffer strokes. Not just the big, dramatic ones, but the tiny silent strokes that slowly erase memory. 2. Starvation of neurons. The brain needs glucose for fuel, but with insulin resistance, neurons can't use it efficiently. At the same time, narrowed vessels can't deliver oxygen. So brain cells face a cruel double starvation. energy they can't use, and oxygen they can't get. No wonder memory slips, focus weakens, and the risk of dementia skyrockets. 3. Inflammation on overdrive. High blood pressure sparks tiny injuries. High sugar triggers toxic ages and oxidative stress. Together, they feed a cycle of chronic inflammation in the brain. Inflammation makes neurons swell and sicken, weakening communication between them. Scientists believe this constant fire is a key driver of both Alzheimer's and vascular dementia. 4. Accelerated brain shrinkage. Brain scans reveal that seniors with both high blood pressure and diabetes have smaller brains than those with either condition alone. The hippocampus, the brain's memory hub, shrinks faster. This means names vanish more quickly, details slip away, and decision-making falters earlier than expected. 5. Mood and personality changes. It's not just memory at risk. This deadly duo also affects the brain's emotional centers. Many seniors with poorly controlled blood pressure and sugar notice mood swings, irritability, or depression. Families sometimes mistake these for personality changes of just getting older, but they are often signs of brain circuits struggling under pressure. The most frightening part is how common this combination is. In the United States, nearly half of seniors over 60 have high blood pressure. Millions more live with diabetes or prediabetes. For many, both conditions exist silently, undiagnosed, or poorly managed. And while the heart and kidneys are often monitored, the brain is quietly suffering in the background. But here's the hopeful truth. Controlling even one of these risks, pressure or sugar, lowers brain danger. Controlling both is like lifting a crushing weight off your neurons. Seniors who bring their blood pressure and blood sugar into healthy ranges often notice clearer thinking, steadier mood, and sharper memory within months. In the next block, we'll talk about the early warning signs that your brain might already be under attack from blood pressure and sugar, the subtle clues you should never ignore. Early warning signs your brain is under attack. One of the most dangerous things about high blood pressure and high blood sugar is that the damage often happens silently. You don't feel it the way you feel a cut or a bruise. But the brain often gives subtle warning signs, and too many seniors ignore them. Let's walk through the early red flags. 1. Frequent brain fog. Everyone forgets things now and then. But if you often feel like your head is in a cloud, struggling to focus, losing your train of thought mid-sentence, or staring at something without remembering why you're there, it may not be just aging. Brain fog is often an early clue that neurons aren't getting enough oxygen or fuel because of poor circulation and sugar imbalance. 2. Slower thinking speed. Do you find yourself taking longer to process information? Maybe you used to do crossword puzzles quickly, but now the answers come slower. Or conversations feel harder to keep up with. This slowing down often means brain connections are under stress. 3. Trouble recalling recent events. Forgetting where you put your keys is one thing. But if you're struggling to remember conversations from just yesterday or what you had for breakfast, it's a deeper warning. The hippocampus, the memory center most vulnerable to pressure and sugar damage, may already be shrinking. 4. Changes in mood or personality. High blood pressure and sugar don't just damage memory. They affect the brain's emotional centers. Seniors sometimes notice increased irritability, unexplained sadness, or even bursts of anger. Family members might say, "That's not like you." It could be the brain crying for help. 5. Dizziness and imbalance. When circulation is compromised, the brain struggles to maintain balance and coordination. Seniors may feel dizzy when standing, unsteady when walking, or more prone to falls. While these symptoms can have many causes, vascular damage to the brain is one possibility. 6. Poor sleep quality. Uncontrolled pressure and sugar disrupt the body's natural rhythms. Waking up often at night, restless legs, or feeling unrefreshed in the morning may reflect deeper problems with blood vessels in the brain. And poor sleep makes the damage worse, since toxins aren't properly cleared. 7. Vision problems. Blurred vision, sudden changes in eyesight, or difficulty focusing can be related to small vessel damage in the eyes and in the brain. If your vision changes along with memory slips, don't dismiss it. 8. Reduced motivation. Another overlooked sign is apathy. Seniors may lose interest in hobbies, conversations, or activities they once enjoyed. This isn't always depression. Sometimes it's a direct result of brain circuits losing fuel and struggling to function. 9. Microstrokes. These tiny strokes, or transient ischemic attacks, may cause brief episodes of weakness, slurred speech, or sudden confusion that vanish after minutes. Many people ignore them, but they are flashing red lights of brain vessel damage. 10. Subtle lapses in judgment. Maybe it's mishandling money, falling for scams, or making decisions that seem out of character. When blood pressure and sugar weaken the frontal lobes, judgment suffers. It's not foolishness, it's biology. The challenge is that many of these signs are brushed off as normal aging. But normal aging does not have to mean constant brain fog, lost memories, or personality changes. These are early whispers of damage, and if ignored, they often grow into shouts, dementia, strokes, and loss of independence. The good news? Catching these signs early means you can act early. By controlling pressure and sugar, nourishing the brain, and making lifestyle changes, many seniors see these symptoms ease or even reverse. In the next block, we'll move from warning signs to practical steps. The natural, science-backed ways to protect your brain from this silent risk. Natural solutions to protect the brain from pressure and sugar. Now that we know how high blood pressure and high blood sugar quietly damage the brain, the question becomes, what can we do about it? The good news is that there are powerful, natural strategies, habits you can build into daily life, that protect blood vessels, balance sugar, and give neurons the oxygen and fuel they need. Let's walk through them step by step. 1. Move your body every day. Exercise is like medicine for the brain. Walking, swimming, dancing, or even gardening can lower blood pressure, improve insulin sensitivity, and boost circulation. Just 30 minutes of brisk walking a day reduces the risk of dementia by up to 40% in some studies. Think of each step as pumping fresh energy into your neurons. 2. Eat for your brain. Focus on a diet rich in whole, colorful foods. Leafy greens like spinach and kale are packed with antioxidants. Berries provide flavonoids that protect neurons from inflammation. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines deliver omega-3s that strengthen cell membranes. Whole grains stabilize blood sugar, avoiding sharp spikes. Nuts and seeds improve blood vessel health with magnesium and healthy fats. And don't forget spices. Turmeric and ginger calm inflammation, while cinnamon can help stabilize blood sugar naturally. 3. Drink smart. Replace soda and sugary drinks with water, green tea, or herbal teas. Staying hydrated keeps neurons firing. Green tea provides EGCG, a compound shown to protect memory. Beet juice can even increase blood flow to the brain. 4. Prioritize sleep. Your brain detoxifies at night. Poor sleep increases both blood pressure and sugar levels, creating a vicious cycle. Aim for 7 to 9 hours, with consistent bedtimes. Create a wind-down ritual. Dim the lights, avoid screens, and perhaps sip calming tea before bed. 5. Manage stress. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which raises blood pressure and worsens insulin resistance. Simple practices like deep breathing, prayer, meditation, or Tai Chi calm the nervous system. Even 5 minutes of slow, mindful breathing can lower pressure and protect neurons. 6. Keep your mind active. Mental exercise builds resilience. Learn something new, solve puzzles, or practice a musical instrument. These activities stimulate neuroplasticity, creating stronger networks that can resist the effects of poor circulation or sugar imbalance. 7. Stay socially connected. Loneliness raises stress hormones and worsens both pressure and sugar control. Regular conversations, family time, or community activities lower stress and keep emotional circuits strong. 8. Monitor your numbers. Don't ignore the basics. Check your blood pressure and blood sugar regularly. Many seniors discover problems only after major damage is done, but home monitors are affordable and easy. Catching changes early allows you to act before they harm the brain. 9. Weight and waist control. Even small reductions in weight can lower both blood pressure and sugar dramatically. Focus less on strict dieting and more on sustainable habits, balanced meals, portion control, and daily movement. 10. Natural supplements with guidance. Some seniors benefit from adding magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids, or vitamin D. These support blood vessel health and brain function. But always consult a doctor before starting supplements, especially if you're on medication. The power of these steps lies in their synergy. Walking lowers blood pressure, which improves sleep, which stabilizes sugar, which protects neurons. Eating better fuels energy for exercise, which reduces stress, which protects vessels. No single change is a magic bullet, but together, these habits form a shield around your brain. And the earlier you start, the stronger that shield becomes. In the next block, we'll look at real-life stories of seniors who turned their health around by managing pressure and sugar, and how their brains responded with clarity and vitality. Real stories, seniors who took back control. Science is powerful, but sometimes the most convincing proof comes from real lives. Across the world, seniors have shown that controlling blood pressure and sugar doesn't just protect the heart, it protects the brain, and often in remarkable ways. Take Mr. Johnson, age 72. He had lived with high blood pressure for years, brushing it off because he felt fine. Then one day, he noticed he was forgetting small things, where he left his glasses, the name of a neighbor he saw every week. His family grew concerned. A checkup revealed not only hypertension but also prediabetes. His doctor warned that if nothing changed, his brain could decline quickly. Mr. Johnson decided to act. He began walking 20 minutes every morning, swapped his soda for water and green tea, and cut down on processed foods. Within months, his blood pressure dropped, his sugar stabilized, and his memory began to feel sharper. Today, he tells others, the fog lifted. I didn't just get my health back, I got my mind back. Then there's Maria, 68, from Texas. She was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and struggled with fatigue and mood swings. She often felt irritable and withdrawn, and her memory lapses frightened her. Instead of giving in, she joined a local cooking class focused on Mediterranean-style meals. She filled her diet with vegetables, fish, olive oil, and nuts. Combined with light yoga, her blood sugar levels dropped dramatically. More importantly, her family noticed she was more engaged, more joyful, and more mentally present. I feel like myself again, she says, and I'm not afraid of losing my memories anymore. And consider Sister Helen, a retired teacher in her 80s. She had both high blood pressure and diabetes for years, leading to multiple silent strokes she didn't even realize she'd had. Her neurologist encouraged her to start a daily routine. Check her pressure, track her sugar, and practice 15 minutes of meditation before bed. Within 6 months, her test results improved, but what amazed her most was her clarity of thought. She went back to tutoring children in her neighborhood, saying, "Teaching keeps me alive, in my spirit and in my brain." These stories aren't unique. Around the world, research confirms what these seniors have lived. Lowering blood pressure improves memory tests. Balancing sugar reduces brain shrinkage on scans. Lifestyle changes, movement, diet, stress control, create visible differences in how seniors think and feel. The common thread is not perfection. None of these people followed a flawless plan. They didn't run marathons or cut out every dessert. What they did was consistent, daily action. Small steps. A walk here, a healthier meal there, a habit of checking their numbers. Over time, those small steps became a powerful shield. The lesson is clear, it's never too late. Whether you're 60, 70, or 80, controlling blood pressure and sugar can sharpen your mind, protect your independence, and give you more years of clear thinking with the people you love. In the next and final block, we'll bring everything together, the science, the warning signs, the solutions, and the stories, into one powerful message of hope, that the silent risk to your brain doesn't have to be your future. Conclusion: protecting your brain's future. We began this journey with a sobering truth. Two of the most common health problems after 60, high blood pressure and high blood sugar, are not just numbers on a medical chart. They are silent risks, quietly, steadily eroding the brain. They damage blood vessels, starve neurons of oxygen, create toxic inflammation, and accelerate shrinkage. Together, they form a deadly duo, raising the risk of dementia, Alzheimer's, and loss of independence. And perhaps the most frightening part is how invisible the process can be. There is no pain, no sudden warning, until the damage is already deep. But along the way, we've also uncovered hope. We saw how high blood pressure silently batters vessel walls, leading to microstrokes and memory loss. We explored how high sugar poisons neurons, fueling insulin resistance, toxic buildup, and Alzheimer's risk. We revealed how the two conditions together act like a double assault, shrinking and starving the brain. We identified early warning signs, brain fog, mood changes, judgment lapses that seniors must never ignore. We laid out natural solutions: movement, nourishing foods, hydration, stress control, sleep, social connection, and regular monitoring. And we heard real-life stories of seniors who faced these risks, took action, and reclaimed their clarity, focus, and joy. The message is clear: while high blood pressure and sugar are common, their brain damage is not inevitable. They are risks, not destiny. Your brain is like a garden. Left unattended, storms and weeds can take over. But with daily care, water, sunlight, nourishment, pruning, it can thrive for decades. In the same way, your habits today can either dry, shrink, and scar your neurons, or protect and renew them. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Will you be struggling with fog, forgetting names, losing your independence? Or will you be walking with energy, telling stories with clarity, laughing with loved ones, and living with confidence? The difference lies in choices you begin making today. Drink that water. Take that walk. Choose the meal that feeds your neurons. Breathe deeply, sleep deeply, and connect with people who make you laugh. Check your numbers and take them seriously. These aren't small things. They are daily investments in the most precious thing you own, your mind. Because longevity without clarity is only survival. Longevity with memory, joy, and sharpness, that is truly living. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the silent risks and the powerful solutions for protecting the aging brain. If you found this video valuable, please subscribe to Wellness for Seniors, where we share more insights on brain health, longevity, and wellness after 60. And if you know someone struggling with blood pressure, sugar, or memory, share this with them. It could change their tomorrow. Now, as you rest tonight, let your mind find peace in knowing that you are not helpless. Your brain is resilient, alive with possibility, and waiting for the care you can give it. Tomorrow, take one small step, and with each day, those steps will build a stronger, sharper, and more vibrant mind. Because your memories, your wisdom, your story, they deserve to stay alive as long as you do.